Forensic Science Lecture 11-4, War Bloodstained Patterns. When we're looking at gunshot spatter, this tends to be spatter characterized as fine forward spatter from an exit wound and back spatter from the entrance wound. Forward spatter generally leaves very fine droplets. Medium and large size droplets may also be within the pattern, but for the most part it tends to be very fine droplets. Back spatter typically occurs if the bullet doesn't exit the body. Location of injury, size of wound, and distance between victim and muzzle affect the amount of back spatter. Some back spatter may strike the gunman and enter into the gun muzzle. This is called drawback effect. Blood within the muzzle can place the weapon in the vicinity of the crime. Blowback spatter is consistent with the weapon being close to the victim at the time of firing. Another type of spatter is cast-off spatter, and this is created when blood-covered objects fling blood in an arc onto a nearby surface. A lot of times it's the ceiling. It's commonly produced by a bloody fist or weapon between delivering blows, and the tails point in the direction the object is moving. The features are affected by the size of the object, the amount of blood being transferred, and then the direction of the object was moving. Width of the cast-off may suggest the kind of object that produced the pattern. The size of the droplets are directly related to the size of the point from which it was propelled. Smaller objects make smaller linear lines. Larger objects produce wider patterns. Volume of blood on the object also affects the size and the number of droplets. And then investigators have to keep in mind that the first blow will only produce pooling, not cast off, because there's no source there yet. Another type of spatter is arterial spray spatter. This is caused by an injury to the heart or a main artery. Pressure from pumping of the heart causes the blood to spurt. So patterns show spurt stains for each pump of the heart. Radial spikes, satellite spatter, or flow patterns may be present due to large volume of blood being expelled. The lineup of stains shows the victim's movement. Also, an oxygenated blood spurting from the artery tends to be brighter red color than blood expelling from an impact wound. So it can give an idea that this is an arterial spray instead of just an impact wound. The site of the initial injury can also be found where the pattern begins with the biggest spurts. And so again, we're say spurts because every time the heart pumps, that is where that's when the blood is expelled from the body. Expirated blood patterns are created by blood expelled from the mouth or the nose, and this is due from an internal injury. Under great pressure, the patterns show fine, high-velocity spatter. Under lower pressure patterns, they show clusters with irregular spatter. The presence of expirated blood gives an important clue as to the injuries suffered, internal injuries suffered, and the events that took place at the crime scene. The presence of bubbles of oxygen and a lighter color from the dilution of the saliva can differentiate a pattern created by aspirated blood as opposed to an impact injury. And then void patterns are created when an object blocks the deposition of blood spatter onto a surface or an object. The spatter is deposited onto the object or the person instead of the background. And so a blank space can give a clue as to the size or the shape of the missing object or person and can establish body position of the victim or the assailant at the time of the incident. This ends lecture 11-4. There's a quiz next class.